All right, starting this at 11:11 a.m. in beautiful Midwestern Illinois, here in the heartland of the Americas. Um, it's a beautiful day. Like I said, 11:11. Um, so I want to jump right into this. A part of me said, should I even give this information? Because this is dope information. This is information that, like I said, I questioned even if I should give it out. But this is going to really tie into your understanding of what you call the light body and some of its functions. That is to say, how it functions as a higher cerebral. It functions as a higher cerebral interfacing mechanism. It's ethereal in its composition. And so you'll begin to understand the function of this sacred geometric patterns that you will begin to see with your bare eyes, with your first two eyes, sun gazing. I read in The Keys of the Living Library by a woman named Barbara Marciniak. It was written, I believe, in 1994. And she, in this book, as a Pleiadian starseed, talking to those Pleiadian starseeds here present on Earth. And, I want to clear something up real quick. Okay, so when I say Pleiadian, I simply mean those beings that come from the Pleiades and most certainly are birthed as souls with Pleiadian energy. Okay, because you're talking about vegans. We're not necessarily talking about the Nordic extraterrestrials. We're not talking about Nordics. We're talking about, the people from Vega. And as a vegan starseed, that means I'm certainly also Pleiadian as well, because I come from the Pleiades. And I really hope that makes sense to people, because there are those of us Pleiadian starseeds who come here to recreate certain blueprints using the master numbers. That is to say, the master keys, the master codes, or the master shapes, to open up this living library. And Gaia is the goddess. Okay, and she's represented by a serpent. The representation for Gaia is a serpent. When you understand that your light body energy is serpentine, when you see that the structure of the light and the way that it rotates around you is serpentine, it moves in a serpent-like pattern. Not to mention that it also has geometric angles. But you will understand why they call you Nagas. You will also understand why it is that the symbol for wisdom is a snake, oftentimes represented as a serpent. You will understand why it is prudent to begin looking towards your light body structure as more than just a soul in a soul structure. I'm sorry. Instead, begin to look at your light body as an interfacing system with and as an entire composition and integration of not only your natural liquid light configurations and stored amalgamations. You will also notice that you are you're combining all these things with the body of Gaia, with the mind of Gaia, with the mind of the mother, the goddess, Earth. Okay. Now she is a large living intelligent system. When you understand that the Earth is alive and that it must be alive for live things to grow on it, for life to come from it. Because as this light is coming from this Earth, what we consider a planet, which is actually a sun, right, I said it. Our planet is a sun. We live on a sun. In a binary star system. Right? And I think these videos of these people, you know, showing these stars in the sky that look like suns, I think those are rare celestial alignments that they're not telling us about. It's the alignment of the stars, aka suns. Suns are stars. And in fact, the only stars that exist are suns. That's what you're seeing. You're seeing the suns, you know. I've never considered nebula, an arrangement of galaxies in space, stars. So I'm going to go ahead and rightfully say that every sun is actually a star, and every star is a sun, and that's what we are saying. We're saying a star is another term for sun, and so we live on a star. We live on a sun planet. We live on a sun, and with this light that emits from our sun, we are able to integrate these higher functions and protocols, which are tantamount to you becoming more efficient with the layering of the structure of the light body, because the light body has layers. It has structures. It has these functions that require a great deal of tenacity. By tenacity, I mean fervor. Fervor. I'm sorry. You will begin to very doggedly, that is, with much persistence, begin to pay extra attention and care to these newfound peculiarities that arise in your life, such as seeing these quantum equations in front of you in the form of light and geometry in real time. Because that's what it will come down to for a lot of people. Understanding that you're seeing quantum equations beyond quantum, you're seeing it represented in waves, in wave format, and in sacred geometrical format. You're beginning to see your DEA, your deoxyetheric alkaline, or your DNA, your dynamic natural arrangement. You'll begin to notice that these energies are interlocking mechanisms that open up different atoms, different molecules. I just say they open up different protons and different neutrons by way of your biological um, interfacing mechanisms, right? I like to see these things as, where people will call it consciousness. I say these are interfacing mechanisms. We're obviously existing within densities of different electromagnetic interference patterns. And so, as these mind, body, spirit complexes, we're able to um, reconfigure our own data structure system. We're able to then create hub centers on behalf of groupings of individuals and create well springs of interfacing networks. And like I said, these hub centers will be created by people together with their psionic abilities, with their psionic abilities, with their higher life analog functions, as described in the 260 postulates of the dynamics of the law of time. We will become a group of wizard beings, and we will not have any need for any external props or clothes. We're simply straight wizards at this point, and we will create these groupings of blueprints. That is to say, these templates, these group templates of consciousness. Except for we will be doing this in real time, and we will take a great amount of care to enact and to fulfill this task, because these pools of information have become very vital to a planet's evolution, to a species evolutionary process. This is not um, this is not something that is um, irrelevant, to the extent that we create these pools of information, these hubs that are literally tangible. They're touchable, interactive hubs of light and sacred geometry, and this is vital for any evolving people's capability and capacity to go beyond what they believe, and that is the groupings of these consciousness, what you will call consciousness templates, what I call um, uh, interfacing mechanism templates, or protocol units. These light technology these configured light technology protocol units, or hub of light and order templates. And everyone doesn't have to participate in these things. It'll be like, uh, those who wish. Um, but once used, we will see a significant, or once understood, we will see a significant shift, and the way that so-called humans, interact with Gaia, our planet, our mother, because, like it or not, the vast majority of us are coming from Gaia. Now, we might be coming from 12D Gaia. Some of us might be coming from, the 22nd dimension of Gaia, the 48th dimension of Gaia, but we are the third dimension of Gaia. It does not matter. We are still children of Gaia. And if you're born on this planet, at some point in any of your evolutionary pinnacles or experiences, you are still Gaian somewhere. You are a child of Gaia. And that means you are and have always been a galactic being. That's why this video is called You Have Always Been a Galactic Being. You can't help but to be a galactic entity. It is literally impossible for us to not be galactic beings when we exist and come from a galaxy in the cosmos. And so as your light body begins to integrate with itself, you will understand your predisposition to become in alignment with a higher order of systematic incorporation or in interpretation. So what you're beginning to do is you're beginning to literally interact with the matter and the atomic structures around you. Your light body is literally changing the chemical constituents, the molecular constituencies of this matter around us. And it is increasingly obvious to those of us who are more sensitive. I don't want to say more sensitive, just probably a little more practiced in using our sensitivities. We are able to understand that there is a certain mechanism. Like I said, Pleiadian starseeds. A lot of people on Earth, are Pleiadian starseeds. I'm a vegan starseed, though I consider myself Pleiadian. Absolutely, because that is the energy that I work with. When I'm here on Earth, when I'm in a Gaian realm, I am pulling through Pleiadian energy. The Pleiadian energies are closely linked with the Lemurian energies. Even some of the souls that you call Lemurians were actually refugees from the Pleiades. They were refugees from the Pleiades. A lot of them came here, and they set up a very maternal society. Okay, and people say that Lemuria was before Atlantis, and Atlantis was after Lemuria. We're dealing with a multi-dimensional expression based off of frequencies. Okay, and these mysteries of these cities, Atlantis, Lemuria, they're still here. And you can even say that we are building new Lemuria, we are building new Atlantis, because we are beginning to remember what these old societies, these old kingdoms look like. That is beginning to come online within our DNA, and we're beginning to see the birthing of our star forts, of our stellar fortresses, in this higher fourth dimensional frequency. Stellar fortresses, okay? These stellar forts, these star forts, are group expressions for the most part. Like I said, those vegan and Pleiadian souls, I'm a vegan starseed, meaning my last lifetime was on Vega. My last, what you would perceive as physical embodiment, was on Vega. But the Pleiadian reality, we come to anchor these master codes. That is to say that there are certain codes within the Pleiadian star system, from the Aldebaran star and the constellation of Taurus. Shout out my Tauruses. And the constellation of Taurus, because I'm a Taurus. And a lot of this knowledge and information came to me when I began to study my zodiac. When I began to study specifically about the Taurus zodiac and those star clusters and the Pleiades, okay, and um, and I was talking distinctly with the Pleiadians, and I had a dream, and they said you are vegan, and that Vega, you will know you're from Vega because Vega is blue and purple and very rarely ever green. And I researched this, and this has been channeled by another individual that Gaia is blue, or I'm sorry, that Vega is blue and purple and very rarely ever green. There's very little greens on Vega. That reality is the parallel to this reality. That is to say that the next reality that humans will experience here on Gaia will be the reality of the Pleiadians. It'll be a Pleiadian reality, and there are so many different viewpoints on this. And the reason I say this is because the soul structures, and I don't. This is really easy to comprehend. Okay, the soul structures, those blueprinters, those of us from the Pleiades, are accessing certain codes. We're accessing certain codes that we anchored into the earth a very long time ago in the first place. Okay, these codes and these Easter eggs, which is what essentially the cover of Keys to the Living Library look like, or looks like. It's an egg on a terrestrial sphere. So the egg was already on some type of terrestrial sphere because it has there you can see grass, but then the Earth and the stars were inside of the egg. Okay. Now, when we anchored these different blueprints and potentialities, we understood that they could always exist and go through states of flux and activity and go dormant. Um, and in fact, that was largely its purpose, which would be that regular, almost irregular tuning of the present DNA of the higher life forms here on the planet. And this is how, we were told that we interfered with Earth's evolutionary process. Okay. As these blueprinters, the reality is going to move into what people would call Lemurian or Pleiadian reality. So that way people are more comfortable here on Earth. You would call this reality that is about to expand into that we're about to expand into as a Lemurian consciousness slash Pleiadian reality slash Lemurian reality. It doesn't matter; they're interchangeable. As these energies lift, and you become okay with the presence of other life forms, you will notice, and we will come to notice that we're working extensively with some factions of Lyrans, Pleiadians, vegans, and Lemurians, because the Lemurians also, through their intertime evolution, they expanded into the stars as well, and they went out and set up treaties and um, uh, symbiotic civilizations with other races and life forms throughout throughout the cosmos, which is ultimately our goal. Ultimately, a large part of our goal for the survival of our species and the evolution of our species is to expand so much here within our terrestrial sphere that we then maximize our potential so much so that we gain the ability to travel into the stars and then to create symbiotic civilizations with other life forms throughout the dimensional planes of the cosmos itself. And I understand that, we are multidimensional. But I would also like people to start to really ponder on being a cosmic being. Largely, if you're looking at it from any direction, you are a cosmic entity. You cannot be anything other than a cosmic entity because you live within the cosmos. You live within the large energetic sea. Some people say it's not, some people say it is. We live in what would make you a cosmic being, an angelic being, a god being, a deus, deity. Um, we're looking at all these different names to really center around the same thing, and that's a cosmic entity. That is a being of cosmic proportions. That is the constituents and um, the state of being for every bit of your beingness comes forth from a cosmic principle. It comes forth from a cosmic beingness. And so when you begin to understand that you yourself are a new correspondent interfacing system, that your soul print is different, because ultimately we come to change the blueprint of the soul's functionality, the soul's capabilities, which in turn affects the physical world's capabilities. And we are connected as not only our individual soul, but with the group and the world souls, the monads or oversouls. Where we're connected to that more so than our individuality. That is to say that at this point in time, the sum of its parts can never be greater than the whole. And at this time, we are learning and really connecting with this fibrous material, this etheric, extra uh, luminous, becomes supraluminous, uh, thread-like material, this silk, this light silk that forms your light body. And I implore you, okay, so when you're looking at your light body, you don't want to look straight ahead. You want to look down at your feet, okay? Because when you look down at your feet, you can see the shadow of what your light body is doing. You can see what type of induction system you are creating. You can begin to see your wings. You begin to see the serpentine-like movement of energy that surrounds you. That is most certainly this cosmic wave of energy, and it's intense. As we move closer to this full moon and this lunar eclipse, there's a portal opening up. There's a wicked large energetic portal, eclipse portal opening up. You want to understand why it is that we are being upgraded at this point in time. And it's because we are always and have always been being upgraded. It's just now these upgrades are starting to come online to such a degree that we are forced to either accept our new state of being, our new way of being, or we will fall. That is, we will die, and we will reincarnate at that same place. And you guys know me, when I'm citing information, I always give shout outs to the beings that I'm citing. And you can check out Master Foolishly, Miss Blue. She speaks about that. She speaks about we either allow ourselves to grow, or we die and come back in the same place. I completely agree with that, because we have an opportunity now to really notice ourselves as these, as someone would say, a multi-dimensional starseed. a multidimensional star being. There's so much incorporated into being that multidimensional star being, and not being this lame, mute, deaf, dumb, blind, terrestrial, clumsy terrestrial entity, clumsy terrestrial physical being that they would have, loved for us to, a large majority of us, to stay, in agreement with. And there are plenty of us, more than enough of us, who do not agree with that narrative, with that depiction of what it means to be within these bodies, because we know it to be false. We know uh, we are septillion times more than our physical body and our physical being, and that moreness is a oneness and a ubiquitous melding and coalescing of all of the different states of that beingness. It is our quintessential, our quintessent beingness. It is the quintessence of all things that will become life, and even those that will not. And when you're breaking down that doorway between the hidden and the apparent, or the occult and the exoteric, or the magnified or the minimized, you will begin to see an invariable of differences that allow for the understanding of the deeper sciences of the soul, because that's what this is about. This is about getting to and through these dimensional gateways by cascading our souls. And by cascading, I mean to allow for it to flow within and throughout. And as it flows throughout, as it has already been and always been within, it begins to envelop that which is without, to begin to reappear and remerge with the self. And that is the pattern of this quintessence that we're beginning to break down. And I know those of you who are in that alignment with those who could consider themselves blueprinters, blueprint creators. The Lemurian civilization was a civilization largely matriarchal because of its focus, because of what it was centered around. It was centered around the knowledge of compassion and peace, and the powers of passion, love, and peace and grace, but the power of these things as well. The power of the mercy, what mercy and grace can be, what they are not. It was largely based around a very powerful knowledge, and the sharing of that knowledge with all of its citizens. With these states of beingness come the ability to interact with Earth's specific codings that link and tie into certain eras, eons of our beingness, i.e. Lemuria or Atlantis, to the extent that we are beginning to raise up new Lemuria and new Atlantis during this eclipse full moon portal. I totally forgot what I was going to name the video. Yeah, I'll just name it. Lightbody upgrades for the eclipse and new moon, or full moon portal. So, I hope this was meaningful. I hope this helped. Okay? Because I feel it should. In fact, I know it will. Because we're moving into a time of trusting our abilities. And this is one of my abilities, is to bring forth this information. And to continue to digest it myself, because I oftentimes look back at my own videos, even months later, and to see what was really checking out. And I've gone back years and looked at my work and seen from then to now and how much things have manifested in alignment with what I had began to see. And so, as well as hoping, I know that this will help. I can't wait to bring you all more information that will help to expand your mind and to increase your beingness. I hope everyone has a good lunar eclipse, full moon portal season. The beginning of our portal. It was the beginning of our eclipse season, and a lot of energies that we're dealing with. You know, these energies started when those eclipses were happening in what, 2016. After we had all those blood moons in 2015. So I appreciate you all for listening. You have a great day. Peace and stay safe during the lunar eclipse full moon portal. See ya.